Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Casino Insiders. I'm your host, Deacon Kane. Boy, do we got a little bit and a lot to talk about today, if you know what I'm saying. Some very interesting things happened today. March Madness began. But before we get into March Madness, I do want to talk about a couple of other things real quick. Number one, go check out Deuces the Shop. Go get your Drinking on Fremont Street t-shirt. Get your hoodie. Stay nice and warm. Cuddle up next to the fire, next to your lady, or ladies next to your man. Go to Deuces the Shop at www.thecasinoinsiders.com. If you go to Kindle Unlimited and look for author Deacon Kane, you can find 2 books in regards to mastering blackjack and roulette. We'd love for you to check them out. And if you have the Kindle Unlimited, it is free. So thank you in advance and enjoy. All right, so let's get back to the fun stuff. All right, folks, here we go. Now, you guys all know that Bruno Mars is having a tour in Las Vegas, or not a tour, but a stay in Las Vegas. And apparently he's getting paid $90 million a year for his tour to stay in Las Vegas. Well, apparently Mr. Bruno Mars has a little bit of a gambling problem. According to MGM, or not MGM, but some sources close to MGM, he is not allowed to take out any markers due to the fact that he is in debt $50 million. Yes, folks, 50 million simoleons, also known as doll hairs or bucks, however you want to call it. Now, he makes $90 million a year, and he's in debt $50 million already. Wow. That absolutely amazes me. But, you know, if you gamble, you lose. That's what happens. That's gambling, folks. You don't always win. Well, good luck to him. I hope it all works out in the future. And, well, you know, hopefully he keeps doing a lot of music, because he's gonna have to, just to pay off that $50 million, or he's gonna be a lifer in Vegas. Yep, that's right. What is he, 35, 38, somewhere right around there? Let's look it up. How old is Bruno Mars? Bruno Mars is 38, so I was right on my second guess, folks. So with Bruno Mars being 38, he could be there for the next 30, 40 years. Crazy, huh, folks? Crazy. Okay, as we talked about earlier, we got March Madness starting and going, and oh my God, the madness is absolute craziness. It's already begun. First game, Duquesne took out BYU, which knocked out like 85% of the field. Yes, folks, 85% of the field per ESPN. So it took out 85% of their people, which was, 18 million brackets. And then you had, who was it? Where was it? Hang on. Oh, Oakland taking out Kentucky. Did you guys have that? Oh, I sure as hell didn't. But I did have Duquesne taking out BYU. And then there was another 6 and 11. And let me find that real quick. Where's the other 6 and 11? Come on. Oh, yeah. Oregon took out South Carolina. Now, I had South Carolina going a long way. I had a weird gut feeling to take South Carolina all the way to the Final Four, and let me tell you, yeah, I took it in the arrears on that one. Who would have thought that Oregon would have played such good ball? So I guess we'll see how they'll do against Creighton, huh, folks? But right now I'm at an 85% for day one. We'll see what happens. Now, the fun thing with day one is this. It's midnight, and at midnight, Friday morning, out of the 22,112,822 men's brackets. I take that back. Excuse me. Let me rephrase that. That figure that I just gave you are the actual number of brackets that have fallen. Okay? Sorry about that, everybody. This is how many remain. Are you ready? Drum roll. Yeah, that's my makeshift drum roll. You gotta love it. Here we go. There are 1,825 remaining brackets. How do you fare? And these are perfect brackets. So, how well are you faring? If you did ESPN, let us know. I'm kind of curious to know if anybody has a perfect bracket or not. The big losses are a lot of people, like 9.2 million, were the Mississippi State game. 9.3, obviously, BYU. 560,000 Akron loss. Ooh, people were interesting. Long Beach 213, Wagner 66,000, Moorhead 219. South Carolina loss was 1.13. I'm surprised that Kentucky's loss wasn't more, but then they've been pretty poor the last 4 years. If you guys have paid attention to Kentucky, they haven't made it past the round of 32 in the past 3 years. So we'll see what happens next year for Kentucky. Or Calipari's going to be out of a job, but just saying. Now, has anybody ever gone to Reno, Vegas, Atlantic City, anywhere you can do any sports betting for the weekend during March Madness? This is probably the second or third biggest sports gambling time of the year. Reason being is you've got 3 weeks of gambling. It's all on college basketball, and you've got 32 games in round one. You've got 16 games in round two. You've got 8 games in round 3, so on and so forth. Does everybody understand that? And there are numerous different ways to do parlays, do different bets, do different, like first team to 10, first half points, second half points, how many points will player Billy Bob, get during the game, or how many fouls will he accrue, or how many free throws. Those are called prop bets, and we all know what prop bets because we learned about those during our Super Bowl. Now, how many of you know what the biggest, let me rephrase that, not the biggest upset, but the upset that always seemed to happen in the NCAA tournament? Which number? It has happened in, the last 30 out of 31, if not more, NCAA tournaments in the first round. Do you guys know? There's always been at least one, if not more. There we go. Little pause there. A number 12 beats a number 5. Always. It's a given. It's just the way it goes. But if you guys have noticed, it seems like the 11 has taken the 6 and the 14 has taken the 3. It seems like there's been quite a few 14 and 3s, which is absolutely crazy to me. I don't know about you guys, but at least that's my opinion. I'm just saying. My buddy who is in California, he actually drove to Las Vegas yesterday morning just to place bets. And he, every year for the past 36 years or whatever, has gone to Las Vegas, meets up with a bunch of guys. I've gone on the trip a couple of times. It's crazy. My liver can't handle that kind of trip right now. But he'll place probably about $100,000 to $200,000 in bets. Yeah. And you're talking 16 games yesterday, 16 games today, and then 8 games on Saturday, 8 games on Sunday. Yeah, so you want to talk about crazy, fun, wild. I think the most he walked out of there with, winnings-wise, was probably right around 1.3 million, if I'm not mistaken. He hit pretty good one year. But he goes to have fun, drink. He usually goes to the New York sports book, which is crazy, by the way. Absolutely crazy. You guys know the Circa, right? They are not a sponsor, but they could be. Circa Sportsbook and Circa Pool is unfreaking believable. Out at the pool, you can watch, I want to say it's pretty much every single game. Secondary to every single game, you can go in the pool lounge, have cocktail servers, and they do other things in between that. It's unbelievable. And if you go inside, they have the biggest sports book in the world, and they have hundreds upon thousands, it seems like, TV screens going on in there, and sports tickers going by, and you can place so many bets. Been there, checked it out. Unbelievable. Probably one of the best sports books I have ever been to in my life. It's a, how do I say this? It is a sports book Disneyland. I mean, literally and figuratively, that is the absolute best way to add that or say that. I actually did a women's bracket, and this year I wanted to do a women's bracket because I felt that the women's field was absolutely phenomenal. I felt that the men's field was completely and totally unpredictable. I mean, there's no doubt in my mind like a team like Oakland could win it, but this year, I mean, South Carolina is so strong. Iowa is so strong. LSU as well. I mean, I think there's 5 or 6 teams that could truly win the national championship this year. But, I'm not a college expert, and I didn't play one on TV, nor did I stay at a Holiday Inn Express last night. And no, Holiday Inn Express is not a sponsor, but again, they could be, folks. But I'm really interested in seeing what happens and how, if LSU can repeat, see if Angel Reese can pull out of her funks, just to see what happens. Caitlin Clark, and I mean, let's just put it this way. South Carolina is stacked to the hilt. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. I mean, yeah, you cannot describe how stacked South Carolina is. That is all. That's all I'm going to say. Because that's all you can say. Period. Case closed. Zip. All right. That tournament starts on Saturday, so I will let you guys know next week on how we did, how we're going to do. But let me pull that up, and I'll give you a few games that I've picked that I like. I know I went non-upset strong in the first couple of rounds because I just felt that the matchups were too close. So that is why I decided to do that. And I will give you my picks for the winner. But I do want to also give you the picks for the percentages on the most picks for the Women's National Championship. You ready? South Carolina's a 35.8. Iowa's a 28.9. UConn's a 4.7. LSU is a 4.6. Texas is a 4.2. And SC is a 3.8. Which SC really stepped it up in the Pac-12 championship tournament. They did a good job. I liked it. I was also going to pull up some prop bets. Hold on one second. All right, folks, here we go. So here are some of the crazy prop bets. We kind of talked a little bit about this earlier. So we're going back to the men's game. All right, folks, here's some of the crazy little prop bets. Alabama's Mark Sears to have over 22.5 points is a minus 110. Danny Wolf over 8.5 rebounds versus Auburn is a minus 115. LJ Cryer over 14.5 points versus Longwood. That's interesting. Let's see, Florida Atlantic and Northwestern for a total of 142.5 points. Wow. That's a low-scoring game, in my opinion. But Northwestern is the underdog. Baylor's favored by 13.5 over Colgate. San Diego State minus 7.5 over UAB. Marquette minus 13.5 over Western Kentucky. UConn minus 25.5 over Stetson. New Mexico minus 2.5 over Clemson. Auburn minus 12.5 over Yale. Florida minus 1.5 over Colorado. I think that's going to be an interesting game. Let's see, Duke minus 11.5 over Vermont. Not a Duke fan at all. Hope Duke loses. Hope they choke hardcore. Purdue minus 26 over Grambling. Alabama minus 9.5 over Charleston. Houston minus 24.5 over Longwood. Wisconsin minus 5.5 over James Madison. TCU minus 3.5 over Utah State. And St. Mary's minus 5.5 over Grand Canyon. I'm taking Grand Canyon. Just saying. All right, what else do we got? So those are, a few of the prop bets. Not very much. Nothing big. No big deal. Just a few things that the USA Today has. So the top 10 winningest bets from Bovada.com. Number 10, 9,001 from a $450 ticket plus 2,200. In 2019, Virginia Cavaliers won the NC Division I men's basketball tournament for the first time ever. The Cavaliers were available at a tasty plus 2,200 to win the tournament before March Madness began, and one user had wagered $450 on them at these odds. Man, that's crazy. Number 9, 10,001 from a $1,250 bet plus 800. The Baylor Bears were crowned the NCAA champions in 2021 after beating Gonzaga 86-70. In the final, prior to the tournament tipping off, Bears were available plus 800 to win the championship title. One Bravada user placed 1,250 on the selection, winning a lovely 10 grand. I'm just going to kind of skip up to number one. The biggest March Madness bet ever won on Bravada Sports was the staggering $36,996. You won't be surprised to hear that the selection was for the Baylor Bears to win 2021 basketball tournament, a reoccurring selection throughout our top 10 list for number one spot. This Bovada user placed 8,700 wager on them to win the tournament, whilst they were 4 plus 425 securing the win. Man, that's a pretty nice little win, but it took $8,700 to make that bet. Alrighty, folks. Well, I think that's going to be it for tonight, or this morning. It's 2 o'clock in the morning on Friday the 22nd. I'm actually pretty exhausted. I just got off work, so in all my research, I accidentally X'd out before I went to work, so I hate it when that happens, but I will be putting out an episode next week, or a week and a half later. It depends on if I want to get one out before the Sweet 16 or not. I probably will. Anyway, it also depends on time and life and all that kind of good stuff. So don't forget, check out Deuces the Shop, check out the books, Mastering Roulette, Mastering Blackjack, and like always, thank you very much. And go to www.thecasinoinsiders.com. And what else? Oh, if you do have a gambling problem, as you guys know, please call 1-800-GAMBLER. We'd love for you to make sure that you are taken care of as well as your family is taken care of. Thank you. And always, you guys have a great night, and deuces.